Greetings to all. Thank you so much for looking in on me. Some of you know me already. Some of you don't. My name is Jonathan Pryor, and I sing for a living. And I'd like to help you if you happen to be one of those singers that would love to improve their gift. There are some things that I'd like to share with you to help you with amplification, and diction, and all those good things that go along with singing. I'm so glad. I thank you all so much for watching my videos. They've been circulating around the world, and thank God quite a few of them are around, and maybe it's close to 100 different countries, which I think is a real good thing. I asked the Lord to help me to be part of His harvest machine, and this is the way He's doing it, and I'm glad of it. I have no idea how those videos got in 100 different countries other than God, but gracious as He is, He was kind enough to do that for me. And I'm just trying to say thank you. With that thank you, I'd like to reach out to all of you singers. All of you singers. Doesn't matter what range you sing in or sing from. God's got a plan just for you. And I'm part of that plan. I want to help you to reach your goal, to praise and magnify and worship Him as much as you can with the gift that He gave you with the gift that He gave you. And thank you, Lord. Now, being a minister of music, it makes me lean toward worship. But all the things that I'm going to talk about are good for all singers. Personally, I sing for the Lord, whether it is in church, a party, another gig, or just on the street with a little child just enjoying singing. The issue about being a minister of music, a worship leader in the church and singing professionally has come up a lot. Some folks like it, some folks don't. Personally, this is what I tell people. You know, you were put here and given a gift by your Creator, with the express purpose of giving it back to Him to the best of your ability, with as much love, passion, and compassion as you can muster up. Now, doing this, as you do it, He will teach you to improve upon it, making Him happy, and in return, fulfilling your reason for being on the earth. As for all those who wish to be better singers, at least from where you are, if you're studying and trying to learn how to be a better singer, I think I may have a few things that might help you. If not, at least I try. We're going to start with some things like mechanics, finding out what you do to use to sing, how to use them and build them up. I'm going to teach you how to build your core, teach you to speak properly, and when you speak properly, you'll be able to sing properly. Teach you how to breathe. If you don't breathe, you can't sing. Need as much air as possible. We'll show you how to get as much air as you possibly can. Build some muscle over the things that we're expanding. Teach you just exactly how to use that to get an extra octave or two. Really doesn't matter which vocal range you're in. If you do these exercises that I have in mind to give you, you will improve. Inside 3 days, you should notice a difference in the way you breathe, the way you talk, and the way you amplify your voice. Perhaps a little later on down the line, we'll talk about diction. You know, singing and talking are the same, but a little bit different in some instances coming to singing. We'll talk about the vowels, long tone vowels, A, E, I, O, and U, how they're used. Used to paint a picture. Singing is like painting on a canvas. You use what you got to get what you want. Try and stay within the lines. We'll teach you how to stay within the lines and sometimes be a little psychedelic and splash paint here and splash paint there. But in the meantime, in between time, you'll be building and growing and getting better at what you really want to do, which is sing. Personally, I sing for the Lord all the time. You may have another thought in mind. Hope to encourage you to be better at what you do. I'm going to be doing a few different subjects as time goes along, and they're all to help. I hope you don't miss any one of them. Please just keep your ear to the ground, your eyes on your phone, and know that we're coming soon with something better for you. We're going to start at the ground floor with breathing. If you don't breathe, you can't sing. The idea is to get a lot of air, so you got a whole lot to work with to move your vocal cords. We're going to talk about mechanics, what makes your voice work, and how to manipulate it. Diction, so that people can understand what you sing when you're singing. And microphone technique. Microphones can either make you or break you. And if you learn to use them properly, they can be a great big help. So, if you're ready, and I hope you are, let me tell you, there's a few things you're going to need. You're going to need a nice, heavy book, something similar to a Webster's Dictionary, nice and heavy. You're going to need that for your first exercise. We're going to be talking about breathing for a little while. Now, I know, how hard can it be? Breathe in, breathe out. No. You have to learn to control your breathing. And funny thing about it is that you have to use your whole body to do it. And we're going to try and teach you how to do that. Singing is athletic. Don't let nobody fool you. There are people running around telling you, do a real job. I challenge them to do what we do on a consistent basis and tell me it's not a real job. Go get a real job. That's really cute. But it is a job you were put here on the earth to do. Some of us get a grip and understand that, and some of us go through life wondering, why can't I feel fulfilled? It's because you never started to sing. You needed to sing. Why? Because you were made to sing. Breathing is really, really integral. You're going to learn 4 different exercises just with the breathing alone. It's going to take a little while. So let's start with the first part. I told you it's athletic. It's going to cost you. Like some people say, no pain, no gain, truly. And some of these exercises that we're going to go through, they are really really physical. You need to be having on some sweatpants, or you're in the, privacy of your home. So I just be comfortable. I'll just put it that way, because if you're wearing tight clothing, it's going to hinder you rather than help. Singing is athletic. It's like playing chess. And if you don't play chess, relate to checkers. If you don't think before you do something, instead of moving, you get moved upon. What do I mean? Go to a microphone and you're not ready to be on it, or you forget to turn it on and start singing. Yeah, you get my point. So we're going to go through 4 different exercises to help you to breathe. You're going to learn to breathe totally different from what you were taught in the beginning. Like, for instance, take a deep breath. Most of you filled up your chest, your lungs were there. Once again, it's like playing chess. If you don't think before you move, you get moved upon. You're going to have to learn to use and identify your diaphragm. It's right here. It looks like a man's cummerbund on a tuxedo, shaped the very same way it goes around and connects in the small of your back. It's a cool thing. You got to learn to feel it. You got to learn to feel your bladder. There's area right above your bladder that can be filled with air and muscle over the top. Sounds weird, doesn't it? But no, it's the truth. And the next part about it is you have to learn that you, yourself, you are the instrument, not just your vocal cords. Not just your vocal cords. It's your whole body. So what we're going to ask you to do is learn to relax. Yes, I know. People approach a microphone and you can see them. But if you're thinking while you're doing this, everything goes out. If you go there and just do this and open up your mouth, guarantee you're going to crack, you're going to hit the wrong note, or you're going to forget a word. Chess, think before you approach the canvas with your paintbrush, which is you, all of you. So, exercise 1. relaxation. I'm going to ask you to lie down on the floor, on your back, arms to the side. I may have to demonstrate some of these, but I think you guys can catch this part. Just lie down on the floor, put your arms to your side, and allow yourself to just breathe in and out. Why just in and out? Well, I'm going to teach you another way to breathe in a hot second, in and out. But just for right now, I want you to just breathe in and out. You remember going to school and having a hard day, and you get home, and all you want to do is just hit the couch or the floor and chill. That's what I'm going to be asking you to do first of all. This is a regimen, which means you're going to start here and end up over there. But if you don't get this particular part straight, the rest of it will do you no good, because you'll be doing it wrong and it won't build properly. While lying on the floor, just close your eyes. For those of you who are spiritual minded, get your worship music. Those of you who are still trying to figure that out, get a nature tape, ocean waves, or walking through the forest, so you can imagine birds and whatnot while they're singing and you're walking through. Just breathe, relax, actually. But if you notice, when you got home and turned on the television, if you're on the floor or the couch, you finally relaxed, and you see your stomach going up and down while you're breathing. That's your natural way of breathing. However, we've been taught to do just the opposite. We breathe quickly, hold everything up here, don't feel nothing down here. Well, for a singer, that's detrimental, because you're only getting half the air you're supposed to get the notes that you want to make. If you notice your stomach go up and down all by itself, what I want you to do is feel that when it happens. And if you breathe through your mouth rather than your nose, you'll get a bit more air. Watch. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just been introduced to your diaphragm. That is what we, more or less, for lack of other words, your main tank for air. You're going to have to learn to expand it. We're going to teach you to build muscle over the top of it and use the muscle to manipulate the air in the diaphragm. So where do the lungs come in? They come in like reserve tanks. You'll figure that one out when you start doing long tone songs where you have to hold notes for a long time. You'll find out that you got a little extra here that you can use. Relaxation. That is extremely important, because it points to peace. A singer's job is to be peaceful, because if he can't be peaceful, he can't really give you what the Creator wishes to give you. The Creator is peace. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but peace is not a thing. It's a person, and his name is Jesus. Would you agree with me or not? That's here or there. However, peace is the main factor. Be relaxed with what you're doing when you're singing. Yeah, just get up there and sing the song. No, you can't afford to do that. You're being taught to be an instrument to be used. And if you're not sensitive enough to get what he's trying to give you, his message doesn't get across and yours doesn't either. And you fail your mission. Breathing is everything to a singer. After you learn some of these exercises, all the exercises, and have been doing them for a while, you can even get sick and know which parts of your body you can use to still get what you want before breaking down, going hoarse, to the point where you skip notes or miss notes, miss phrases. All these things can be controlled. What gets your mind gets you. Presto changeo, the wonders of technology. I'm going to ask you to do what I have done, which is either go to a bed to be comfortable lying on, or the floor. And we'll get started with our first exercise. You want to get a book or something with some weight to it. I'm using a bag with some stuff in it, and it's heavy enough for me to move. But a book like a Webster's Dictionary or something similar to it will have some weight to it. You're going to place that directly on your diaphragm, just slightly above your bladder, on the bottom end, slightly above your bladder. And I'm going to ask you to do something for me. I need you to breathe in, but when you breathe in through your mouth and make a sound when you do so. Now I'm going to give you a second to think about why would I ask you to make a sound while you're breathing in. There's really no wrong answer, and yes, I need you to think about it. Yes, I'm going to give you the answer, but still think. You have to be able to breathe from your diaphragm, fill it up first, and then your lungs. You got two sections. Remember, I told you needed to feel your whole body. This is part of the feeling process. You need to be able to feel here where your bladder is. You need to feel here where your diaphragm is. You need to feel here where your lungs are, so that you can separate them one section at a time. Eventually, you will be using both of them at the same time, but in order for you to feel, we're going to separate. Breathe in through your mouth to make the sound Y, so you can hear as well as feel how much air you have coming in, so that you can use it to start gauging how much air you need to use for whatever it is you're going to be doing. Like so. All these exercises you have to aggressively attack. Don't just, no, that's not the leg. If you do it that way, you won't expand anything at the bottom. You'll just be filling the bottom, and it'll stay at the same capacity that it is. What you want to do is expand it so that you get more air as time goes on. So you're going to aggressively pop the book at the bottom, right above your bladder. Think down. Think down. When you breathe in, aggressively you hit it and pop it this way. And then let it go. If you notice, I got 3 times the amount of air in my diaphragm that I did in my lungs. And like I told you before, the lungs are just merely reserve. You want to make sure that you learn to build and stretch, or stretch and build, to be able to use your diaphragm. Some of us can't get down on the floor anymore, but if you can, be a good thing. I'm going to teach you this first breathing exercise. It's kind of intricate, but once again, I said it was a thinking man and a thinking woman's game. Just like chess, if you don't think, it'll get you before you get it. The object is to be in control. Lying down with your arms to your side, after we've gone through that relaxation period, which should last between 15 and 20 minutes, just relaxing. You're going to start watching your stomach as it goes up and down. All by itself, you can feel that that's where you should be putting your air. But remember, I said you're going to need to control it. All of these exercises from this point on are very athletic. You will do nothing easy. When you pull in sharply. When you blow out sharply. You can't do nothing soft. If you do it softly, you don't expand and build muscle. When you do it sharply, it stretches stuff. Eventually, the next exercise will help you to build muscle in your diaphragmatic area over your abdomen. But first, you need to feel all of you. Hopefully you've got that under your belt already. I'm going to ask you to breathe in through your mouth, past your teeth, making a sound. Yeah, I know. Why you want me to make a sound? Well, it's necessary. As you breathe in, you'll be able to hear what you got coming in, as well as know what you have coming in, so you can understand and know what you have to put back out when it's time to put it out. Simple demonstration. You have to renew your mind about the way you breathe. You gotta change it all the way around from what you've been taught. Somebody said, take a deep breath. Well, I did that earlier, but I want to show it to you. Take a deep breath. If you notice, all of this just moved. Well, that's cool, but it's not enough air. Not if you're going to sing a song or hit a high note that you normally don't hit or hit very seldom. You're going to need extra air. And so the beginning of it is this: to control. Breathe in through your mouth, past your teeth, make the sound. And the area right above your bladder is where I want you to feel like you're putting the very first breath of air. When you pull it in, you want to feel that you're hitting right over your bladder or on your bladder. That's going to take a little while because it's going to take time to expand that area. But eventually, it will expand to where you can feel it. And it's like blowing up a balloon, actually. You know, you take a balloon and stretch it out, and you're blowing, you get that big ball going, and then you just let it grow eventually. But that's what you're doing with your diaphragm. That's what you're doing with your diaphragm. Yes. So let me show you that right quick. When you breathe in, once again, sharply, fill the whole stomach area up. You're going to have to think down. Keep that air going down, because what the tendency will be to augment. Go like this. You'll be breathing here and breathing here, off and on. Like this. Instead of doing it that way, I need you to think, to fill the diaphragm first. Doesn't sound like a hard thing to do, but trust me, it takes a bit of mind power to continue to think, to put the air into your diaphragm first and fill it all the way, like so. And then you hit your lungs. Seems almost impossible, but when it starts going like this, you know you're doing it wrong. You should stop. Start over until you can fill the balloon totally, and then fill up your lungs. Once again, I'll show you one more again. Aggressively pop it, hit it hard, and continue to breathe in. You don't want to go and get the whole idea is to gradually expand your diaphragm. In the next exercise, you'll find out why that's so important. If you don't expand, when you get ready to do your sit-up, you have nothing for the muscles to do but just stay like this. But they're going to arch, and in doing so, they stretch a bit with your diaphragm, building the muscle over the top to use to manipulate the diaphragm. Have you ever seen a bagpipe? That's basically the way the vocal system works. You blow into the pipe, which puts air into the bag. That's usually on the right side. For you, it's your diaphragm. That bag is the diaphragm. It fills with air. You use your arm to press on that bag to push the air back up through the pipes so they make that whining sound. Once that's going, you use your fingers to make the notes on the pipe. Once again, the vocal system is pretty much the same thing. You press on the diaphragm, you build muscle over the diaphragm to press on the diaphragm, to push the air through your esophagus, up through your voice box, over your vocal cords to make them vibrate. Where some people have a problem is when they start to vibrate, they try to make the notes with their throat. Therefore, kind of like stretching them. That's how people get hoarse. You need the right amount of air to go past and through the voice box and over your vocal cords so they can vibrate and stretch or loosen. When they stretch, you get your high notes. When they loosen, you get the low ones. They stretch to get the high notes, loosen to get the low ones. Everything in between is like, you ever play with that whistle? You know the little whistle they used to have with a little thing on the end of it? All that is a mini trombone, actually. The notes are hard to catch, but they're very close together on the little slide. That's basically what singing is. You're using your hearing to hone the notes and to keep the notes on pitch. And it's all done with the air from this exercise. If you don't get this exercise right, the rest of them will do you no good. Now, what I gave you was the first part of the exercise, believe it or not. The object of the exercise is to be able to manipulate the book while you're breathing, like so. Make the book bounce. When you start bouncing the book, you start learning to manipulate the air that's coming from your diaphragm. Once again, good strong pop. And then hit the lungs. That's the end of this particular lesson. I need you to pay close attention to what you just learned. I need you to go back and review it and renew it in your mind and listen and see exactly the way that they're being done. If they're not doing what you're seeing, it's not right. There are no shortcuts. There are no off to the sides. Maybe if I do this and add it this way, it work. No, they need to be done exactly. These exercises that I'm giving are operatic breathing exercises. Singers start teaching their children at age 6 to do these. Coming up in the next section, I suggest you don't eat before then because you're going to be doing a sit-up. It's very important that you make sure that you get that breathing thing right because this first exercise, you're going to use it in the last 3. If it's not right, you're going to wind up jackleg. Don't want to see that happen. So, greetings and salutations to all. I told you we'd be back. Glad that you decided to tune back in. I'm so glad you came in. I hope you're benefiting from some of the things that I'm saying. And that's just scratching the surface. There's a whole lot more to learn. We're going to be doing the second exercise. Once again, make sure you got some comfortable clothes on because it's not going to be an easy ride. In fact, you're probably going to be real upset with me by the time we finish this one. Your second exercise is a sit-up. Now let me explain. It's not just your average sit-up. There's about 4 or 5 ways that can be done. These can be done depending on where you are in your life and where you are in your vocal training. There are going to be some of us that have a problem with our stomachs being in the way, being a little bit too much around the middle, and doing a sit-up with your hands behind your head and pulling it to your knees. That could be a problem. So, those of you who have that particular thing to deal with, don't let it be a problem. There's a way to correct it. And I'm going to help you with that right now before we even get started, because I think you need this tidbit, because I don't want you being discouraged and running and say, he's got to sit up for me to do it. No, you can get it done. You can get it done. You can get it done. If you have that particular problem, I just need you to lay on the floor with a chair in front of you, and you put your legs up in the chair. What I'm going to ask you to do is breathe with your hands behind your head and do a crunch. And you're going to be breathing in. Until you can reach your knees and go back. When you can do that, you're going to go along with us where we're fixing to go right now. Don't change your wonders of technology once again. Notice I'm not sitting, I'm lying down now. I need you to do the same. Did I mention during that last section that when you do your crunch, you want to breathe in as deep as you can and blow out? There should be a force to your blow, not just a blow or just let it out or just let it seep out. You actually force the air in and force the air back out. Once you can reach your elbows, you can go to the next section that we're fixing to do. Don't get it twisted. Do not try to go past there and do it any other kind of way. Well, you can, but you'll short yourself. And I want the best for you. So, here we go. Lying down on your back. There's a few different ways to do this. There's something they call the Superman, where you pull from the floor this way to pull yourself up. While you're doing this, you have to breathe in all the way till you can touch your toes or as close as you can get until you can. Come back and then blow out sharply and start the process over again. I'll explain again. When you start breathing the way you learn to breathe, put that air down near your bladder and start rolling up as you pull in. When you finally get full up here, pull into your lungs. All of that on that swing up. All of that on the swing up. You wind up touching your toes or as close as you can get. Come back. And when you come back and hit the floor, mat, pillow, or whatever it is you're using, blow out sharply and repeat for however many reps that you wish to do. I'll give you a slight demonstration. Like I said, breathe from the floor, not, or wait till you get up here and start breathing. That's halving it. You won't get no benefit from that, actually, really. What you'll do is you'll make yourself lopsided. Part of yourself will be built and the other half will be limp because you didn't exercise it. You want the best from yourself. You want to breathe from the floor as you pull yourself up. In fact, you might want to start before you pull. Breathe in all the way to the end, whether it be your toes or as close as you can get. Come back and blow out sharply. I didn't say, or I said blow out sharply. Take control of your body. This is a chess game. Y'all get that? I hope y'all. Now let's do a quick review. The first one I gave you was for those of you who cannot do a full sit-up yet. That's the one with your legs in the chair. That's one. Two is the Superman from the floor of the bed, pulling yourself and breathing at the same time, going to the toes, coming back, wait till you come back. Once you get back, you blow out sharply and then repeat the process. The third one, we're going to finish it because it will make your lungs expand more than they want to. It will make your diaphragm expand more than it wants to. These are all good things for a singer because it gives us more air. More air, more ways to play. More ways to play. Third way to do this sit-up, and the sit-ups are very, very important because they build your core. They build your core, and your core is what you sing from. You want it as strong as you possibly can make it. I hope you enjoyed your flight with Superman. Should be most interesting. This is the third part of a way that the sit-up can be done. This one is the most beneficial, actually. But some of us have medical problems. Some of us have other problems that prevent us from doing them. What I'm saying is you have to lay down flat on the floor of the bed and lock your hands behind your head. And as you breathe in straight down there to your bladder. Keep filling it until you reach your knees as you pull up from the floor. So when you pull in, you blow out as sharply as you can. I'm doing the best I can with what I got to work with. But your knees have to be up this way. Either up underneath the couch, the chair, the van, whatever you can do to keep yourself from being pulled up off the floor. Have your legs being pulled off the floor. Or you can get an assistant. These are great exercises to teach the children. They're real good at catching them, and it'll do them real good later because it helps your overall breathing to know how to breathe properly. Don't hurt yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Never push yourself any further than you physically can. Take your time and do these sit-ups as much as you can, as often as you can. I suggest twice a day that you do the whole regimen, either at night before you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning. And if you can find time at lunchtime at work or at home, you want to kind of de-stress a little bit, it's a great way to do it. Get your exercises under your belt, but nobody's gonna do it for you, and you can't get any better if you don't do them. Work with it, work with it, work with it. let's go to the fourth style of this sit-up. Like I said, nobody gets left out, and it might take you a minute to catch up before you can get up, but at least there's a way to do it. And if you're diligent and really serious about what you're doing. Now, if any of these exercises weird you out and you can't do them, you're in the wrong business. Go find something else to do, because you won't. If you don't train, you won't remain. And if you're there at all while you're remaining, you'll be real sickly. And we don't need that to be happening. You want to do this to the best of your ability and let God get the glory out of it, and let Him bless you through it. Now, the fourth way to do this setup, why I went through all of that, is because some of us have ailments. We have medical problems. This is another way we can do this sit-up without hurting ourselves and still get the benefits. Whether it's halfway or all the way, at least we get the benefits. Eventually we can get to where we want to go. So here it is. You may need to use a small pillow if you have back problems and very bad breathing problems. Set it at the base of your back. And lean back and lock your hands behind your head like we did on the last exercise. Breathing from the floor all the way to the knees. You hold it deep as you can breathe in, and then going back and allowing it to be blown out. Don't let it out. When you go back and arch your back this way, blow out. Now remember, these are done at the edge of the bed where your legs are hanging off. We don't want to have no problems. This is an easier way to do it. If you got back problems, like I have lower disc problems, sometimes I need to put a little pillow behind my back. You know, a little donut style, you know, long, you know, little round ones like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, put one of them at the bottom, the base of your back. Lean on back, lock your head, hands behind your head. Breathe in sharply like the other exercise, the same way. Aggressively. And blow out when you come back, arch this way, and blow out sharply, and repeat the process. Okay? And that's just to help for some of us who, you know, have those medical problems and other things. One student I had I think she called it vertigo. You want to make sure you can get the mind over the matter. All right? It can be done. Be blessed. Until the next time, which we will start with the windmill. Yeah, it's really grand to get all of this pulled together and everything, but what about all of this on here, this side, and everything on this side, around the back? How do we get that built up? That's what we're going to do next. Put all these components together and then learn how to use all of it in a hissing exercise, which is number 4. I have exciting things for you to know. If it feels boring to you, this ain't the right business for you, because you're going to have to learn this by hook or crook. I'm trying to give you a shortcut. Hello, welcome back. How y'all feeling? by this point in time, you probably think I'm way out of my mind, because when you tried to get up out of the bed the other day, if you did those sit-ups at all, if you did them correctly, you did not get up out of the bed the way that you normally get out of the bed. I'm sure that probably stressed you a little bit, but I want to let you know you're on the right track. If you had to roll over and position yourself where you could kind of sit up on the end of the bed and then stand up, you're in good shape. If you jumped up like you normally do, you ain't done nothing. You're going to have to go back and restart, study all over again, because you missed something. Because no pain, really, no gain. The whole idea is to rip up and tear all this area in here and in here, and then build muscle over the top. Strength. And for you to be able to mentally manipulate these things that you've learned to make your instrument an instrument. Now, I ain't saying that you can't sing. Don't get it twisted. I'm just saying that there is a correct way and a wrong way to do everything. And sometimes the wrong ways get the thing done, but in the long run, it winds up hurting you. Get my point? We got this windmill section to do. Now y'all think I'm just plumb crazy, don't you? But anyway, it's all good. It's going to be just fine. This one too is very, very physical. Have you ever noticed on award shows, a couple of them in particular, I'm thinking about feature Yolanda Adams, gospel singer. She comes out of the wings, to the stage, and you can see all the curtains coming down. And she's got this nice flowing gown on. Starts to walk toward the end of the stage, and while she's walking, she's breathing. She lifts her hand like this, and then does this, and before you know it, she's hitting some phenomenal note to start the song that you've never heard before. That's because, although it is theatrics, which we are actors when we sing, because we can't put it over in the way that we look as well as what we sound like most of the time. It registers in our face mostly, but our bodies also register when we feel and sing. That girl put that hand up there like this and let that note screech, and you wonder, what was she doing? Just waving her hand? No. She was stretching her diaphragm on this side to widen it a bit, to get a little bit more air to hit that note that she hit. These exercises, the windmills, they're going to stretch the sides, so you got a little bit more capacity of air to work with. That too is part of training. It's got to be stretched. No, it's not going to feel good for a couple of days. Every couple of 2-3 days, you probably get a pain. If it ever stops, you stop. No pain, no gain. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but Gloria Estefan does those sit-ups. Yeah, I know. Like Jesus, and again I say unto you, with the sit-ups, 600 of those hanging upside down from a bar twice a day. Takes a considerable amount of time. You don't have that much time, but the whole idea of the thing is that you cannot do too many of these exercises. The more you do, the better you'll get, and the more you'll be able to do. If you train, you remain. You sit sedentary, well, you're stuck. You're stuck. Especially if you don't have much training up underneath you. You have nothing to draw on and go back and lean on. Windmill. This one's going to take a little explaining. Like I told you, thinking man and thinking woman's game. You have to do something in order to keep from getting done. We're going to put our hands to the side to start. You're going to step to the right. As you step to the right, just a step, not too far. Don't go way over here. That's not going to get it. You will wind up hurting yourself doing it that way. Just a small step to the right. As you step, you lift your right arm as you breathe in from the right. That might have sounded a bit confusing, but watch. When you step and lift, it's this way. Now you're going to pull in as much air as you possibly can because of the side, and you're going to lift as high as you can to get the stretch. So the air has some place to go when you breathe in. You're going to get that stretch. Now this is where it kind of gets tricky in the brain. When you come back from this, you come back and bring the leg back. Throw your head to the left. Don't move your left leg. lift your arm to get the stretch and blow out, creating a double stretch, because we're going to switch this to the opposite side in a minute. But it's a double stretch, here and here. Don't do these in the front yard or where too many people can see you from the window, because they will think something's wrong with you. You ever seen a kid go out to the backyard and play airplane? Having a good time just flying like that? Well, that's cool when you're a kid, but if you're grown, you try something like that, they start calling the state hospital for you and stuff. So make sure you're covered, okay? Unlike the plane, your arms aren't going to stay extended and just float. They have a purpose. Once again, thinking man, thinking woman's game. Watch. If you notice, I breathed in as far as I could breathe. And when I blew out, if you listen closely, there was a force behind my blow. Forcing the blow. Forcing the blow. Use your diaphragm. Squeeze and push. Learn to manipulate it. Force the air away. As deep as you can breathe and as high as you can lift. Get that stretch and fill it up with some air. Come back and blow it out sharply. Now, once we've done anywhere from 5 to 15 to 20 of these to one side, you're going to reverse the process. Once again, thinking man, thinking woman's game. Step to the left. As you step to the left, raise your left arm and breathe in. Step back. Step back. Look to the right. Lift your right arm. Get that stretch and blow. Breathe, blow. Breathe, blow. We're going to start from the opposite side and let you watch it again. And we're going to do 5. And I'm going to give you the reason why I'm only going to do 5 in a minute. All right, here we go. That's called a cleansing breath. It allows you to relax a wee bit before you start that same exercise to the left side. Once again, cleansing breath. What is that? The same thing you learned when you first laid down on the floor and took that first breath to relax and lift your diaphragm. Allow all of this to relax. Relax. Remember I said at the front end, relaxation is the whole key to singing. Gotta be at peace, not stressed. To the opposite side. Now what I just did, you need to keep going. You can't stop like I'm doing now. And I'm only stopping now just to explain this because it's kind of difficult. When you get to this point, you're going to feel hyperventilated. You're going to feel real kind of dizzy, kind of like you're not in the right place at the right time, sort of. That means that you finished exercise 3 to move into exercise 4, which is a hissing exercise. What do you mean by hissing? Remember at the front end we talked about making that sound so you could gauge how much air you have coming in so you know what you have to go back out? For all intents and purposes for this exercise, it's a singing note. A note that you hold. One that you keep on pitch. One that you round off to make it sound like something. Other than you can control your voice. Be the instrument you were made to be. If it don't sound pretty to you, It sounds don't sound pretty to nobody else, including God. And the whole idea is to learn to sing for the audience of one. If you use this principle, you will never be nervous on stage. You'll never be bothered on stage. There won't anything that'll come up on stage that will take you by surprise that you can't handle. He's always there, and he helps. Really, he does. Whether you believe me or not. You can call him whatever you want to call him, but he is there. I happen to call him Yahweh. Now, if you notice, I'm doing my best not to take much time between this section and the last section, which is hissing. Why? Because there's a few things that's going on that need to happen and that you need to be aware of. When you finish the windmill, you will be a wee bit disoriented, kind of floating, almost like you could sometimes even almost faint. Take a nice deep breath. Now you have to remember, mind over the matter. You have to use your mind to keep yourself standing erect. You have to keep yourself, through your mind, continuing to sing. You have to keep yourself, if there's a rock in the choir, or if you've got a dance step that you've got to do, to put your mind right on that step so you can continue to do it. While your hissing is the same as singing, or singing a note. Your hiss comes along like this. Remember at the front end, I told you that you need to breathe in through your mouth, past your teeth, to make a sound so you could hear what you have coming back in, or coming in, so that you know what you have to work with to do what you want to do and put it back out on pitch. This is a pitch exercise, something to keep you on key, not flat up underneath the tone or note, not sharp over the top of that note, but on, right on it, on the note. Intonation is what it's called. If you break the word down, in tune, nation, in tuned, together, all together. That's you, the guitars, the pianos, all the other things that you're blending with. All the things that you're blending with. However, remember at this time you're a little bit disoriented because you've been breathing hard and your body is saying, all right, sit down before we fall down. But fortunately, if you're on top of your game, you won't fall. When you reach that point after those, whether you start with 5 or 10, 15 or 20 to each side, take your cleansing breath. Once you take that cleansing breath, you breathe in like you learned from the very beginning, where you pop right here and fill it all up, and then expand your lungs afterwards, and you go into a hiss. Let me explain this hiss. Some people will breathe in and they'll start doing this. How much you bet they ain't gonna last but about 15 seconds. Maybe if not that, maybe 5. Mind over the matter. Control the hiss, because that hiss is the same thing as you singing a long tone note. You don't want to go too hard. You don't want to go too soft. You want to give me a nice, easy hiss so it sounds like a note. You continue that until you can't. I hope you heard that. But if you didn't, maybe I'll step a little closer. Let me try to step a little closer. Right? Listen closely. Not a strong hiss. Not a real easy hiss. but an even hiss like you're singing a note. To be controlled at that sound. Keep it at that sound. That makes you think, and that makes you use your mechanics to hold it in place. Now, the funny thing about this exercise is that the exercise is not the beginning. It's what happens at the end. You keep that hiss steady like that, and after a while it's going to start to sound like this. However, I want you to remember, it's mind over the matter. You can make it go longer. How? Pressing on your diaphragm, bending at the waist, and controlling the air as it comes out. If you do not remember these principles I'm teaching you at a point present, you will always have a short hiss, which will do you no good. The idea is longevity. How long can you hold a note without having to do another one? And can you keep it pristine clear all the way through? Yeah, don't be disillusioned. At the back end of the exercise, nobody keeps it straight. The idea is that you keep trying. The more you try, the longer each time you'll be able to do it. Like so. Right at that point, it's going to start to break up on you. You'll be wanting to stop, and your brain is going off on you. Say, man, breathe. Breathe. Come on now. Breathe. If you don't breathe, we're going to die. While that's all going on in your head, you keep it straight and keep holding that hiss. Keep it until you can't. You want to start, and the average student usually makes it about 10 seconds the first time they try it. So don't be discouraged. However, it gets better. 10, 15, 20, 30. The object is to hit 1 minute and a half. Now I said, that's impossible. No, it's not. I've had some choir members that were on water polo teams. They sit at the bottom of the pool and hiss for 5 minutes before they came back up. So don't give me no excuses, and there aren't any excuses to be made. If you want to prosper, if you want to get better, make yourself do it. And you'll be okay. I really do believe so. If you're not, call me. If you're having problems, call me. If you ran into a snag and you didn't know exactly understand what I said, call me. The whole idea is for you to get better. Do me a favor. I have a website on YouTube. Please go there and subscribe. Go in and look and listen to the different styles. Most of them gospel. Actually, there are about 100 different countries around the world, thank God. But there are other things, everything from Bach to rock, and trust me, I mean exactly what I'm saying. Go there and take a listen. You are not limited at all. You don't have to be stuck in a one groove thing. Allow yourself to be expanded and used. I really hope and pray that you caught a hold of something that will help you prosper, something that will make you better. And if you don't, call me and I'll just, well, maybe I'll bite myself or something. It's all good. But I don't expect any of that to happen, because what I've taught the choirs in the hundreds and in the thousands, to people one-on-one like I'm doing with you now. It works. Don't believe it? Go to my YouTube site and test it. I love you. I love God. And I want you to do the best you can do. One thing I forgot to tell you what the number was. It's 707. And for some of us, 1-707-386-2133. My name is Jonathan Pryor, and this has been Vocalese. One step at a time. God love you, and I do too. Peace.